Donald Trump has delivered a major salvo in his trade war, this time aimed squarely at Canada. In a letter addressed to Prime Minister Mark Carney and posted on social media,
President Donald Trump's tariff deadline looming. Canadian industries are bracing themselves as Ottawa's negotiations with the U.S. continue.
American economy itself. Let us analyze why this trade war is backfiring so spectacularly on the United States.
Welcome back to Scharlet Drive. What's unfolding between Donald Trump and Mark Carney is no longer just another trade dispute. It's a high-stakes confrontation that could redefine the entire structure of North American power. For decades, the USMCA stood as one of the most stable economic partnerships in the world, supporting over $1.6 trillion in annual trade. It wasn't perfect, but it was predictable. That predictability is now collapsing in real time. This crisis didn't begin quietly. It started with an aggressive ultimatum from Washington. Frustrated by stalled negotiations during the USMCA review, Trump demanded sweeping concessions from Canada, ranging from dismantling cultural protections to opening telecom sectors and eliminating key agricultural controls. The message was blunt: comply within 48 hours or face a 25% tariff on all exports to the United States. Historically, moments like this triggered panic in Ottawa. But this time, the response was entirely different. Carney didn't hesitate, didn't negotiate behind closed doors, and didn't soften his tone. Instead, he publicly rejected the demands, framing them not as negotiations, but as coercion. His message was clear: Canada would not renegotiate under pressure. That single decision changed the tone of the entire conflict. Rather than backing down, Canada escalated strategically. Carney signaled potential retaliation not just through tariffs, but through critical leverage points, energy exports, rare earth minerals, and trade diversification. This wasn't symbolic. It was calculated. Canada holds a dominant position in several supply chains that the United States depends on, especially in energy and industrial materials. And the markets noticed immediately. While political tensions exploded online, financial signals told a deeper story. The Canadian dollar held steady. Meanwhile, U.S. agricultural and industrial sectors reacted sharply. Major automakers saw their stock prices dip, exposing a fundamental truth: the North American economy is not divided by borders, it is deeply integrated. A single vehicle may cross the U.S.-Canada border multiple times during production. Introducing tariffs into that system doesn't just target one country, it disrupts the entire network. This is where the real risk lies. The auto industry is only one example. Energy is even more critical. Canada is the largest foreign supplier of oil to the United States, accounting for a significant portion of imports. American refineries are built specifically to process Canadian crude. Any disruption in that flow doesn't create minor inconvenience, it creates immediate price shocks. Gasoline prices, industrial costs, and supply stability all hang in the balance. Carney understands this leverage, and he's using it carefully. But his strategy goes beyond economics. While Trump applies pressure directly, Carney is playing a broader global game. He's strengthening ties with allies across Europe and the Indo-Pacific, positioning Canada as a stable and reliable partner in contrast to U.S. unpredictability. This approach transforms the narrative. Instead of a bilateral dispute, it becomes a question of global economic order. That shift matters. Investors, governments, and institutions don't just react to policies, they react to stability. In a world already facing economic uncertainty, Carney's calm, data-driven approach presents Canada as a safe alternative. Every aggressive move from Washington reinforces that perception. At the same time, Trump faces a growing internal dilemma. His strategy relies on pressure and rapid concessions. But when the other side refuses to yield, the options narrow quickly. Following through with tariffs risks damaging American industries, particularly manufacturing and agriculture, key sectors tied to his political base. This creates a paradox. If Trump escalates, the economic consequences hit American consumers and businesses almost immediately. Prices rise, supply chains slow, and jobs come under pressure. If he backs down, it risks appearing as a political defeat. That tension is now playing out behind the scenes, with reports of divisions within his own economic team. Meanwhile, Carney's approach is built on patience. He isn't trying to win quickly, he's trying to outlast. By holding firm, he increases pressure within the U.S. system itself. Businesses, lawmakers, and markets begin pushing back, creating internal resistance to prolonged conflict. This is not a traditional trade fight. It's a test of endurance. And the consequences extend far beyond economics. For decades, the global system operated under a simple assumption. When the United States set terms, its allies followed. That assumption is now being challenged. Canada, one of the closest and most consistent U.S. partners, has openly refused to comply. That moment carries symbolic weight. If Canada can resist, other nations may follow. That's where this becomes a turning point. The implications reach into everyday life. If tensions escalate, consumers will feel it first. Higher vehicle prices, rising fuel costs, and increased food expenses are all direct outcomes of disrupted trade flows. Businesses will face uncertainty, delaying investment and hiring. What begins as a political standoff quickly becomes an economic reality for millions. So where does this go next? There are three realistic paths forward. The first is a prolonged standoff. Tariffs are imposed, retaliation follows, and both sides endure a slow, grinding economic strain. Markets weaken, growth slows, and pressure builds until a negotiated settlement becomes unavoidable. The second is escalation. The U.S. could move beyond tariffs, potentially dismantling the USMCA entirely. This would trigger a full-scale economic rupture, breaking supply chains that took decades to build. The damage would be immediate and severe. The third is strategic realignment. Canada accelerates efforts to diversify trade, reducing dependence on the United States over time. This path doesn't eliminate short-term pain, but it reshapes long-term economic relationships in a way that permanently alters North American dynamics. Right now, the situation appears closest to the first scenario, but drifting toward the second. What makes this moment so critical is that neither side is showing signs of backing down. Trump thrives on confrontation, and Carney has anchored his position on sovereignty and stability. That combination creates a dangerous stalemate. In the end, this isn't just about tariffs or trade agreements. It's about power, strategy, and the future of economic alliances. It's about whether long-standing partnerships can survive in an era of aggressive nationalism and shifting global priorities. And most importantly, it's about who breaks first. Because in a conflict where both sides have leverage, patience becomes the most powerful weapon and the most unpredictable factor. Thanks for watching Scharlet Drive, and see you next time. Share your experiences and opinions in the comments below. If you found this discussion enlightening, don't forget to subscribe to Scharlet Drive for the latest news and insights.